Hey guys, welcome back to Valerie and Customs. I'm Michael. Today we are installing a trailer hitch on my wife's 2020 Mazda CX-5. So let's jump into it. Alright guys, we're getting into this. I went ahead and screwed. They actually have 4 of these wires to fish your bolts through the chassis. I'm about to crawl under there. I think I read in the instructions that you need to drop the exhaust, so we're probably going to get under there and do that. Glen had said they didn't supply lock washers, but these are actually like a cone shaped washer, and they need to go this side against the chassis. And how this goes together is you have your bolt, this slides through a plate, and that's going to be on the inside of the chassis, and like I said, this wire is to help fish your bolts into place. So I'm going to crawl under there, take a look at what I got, and then we'll bring you back. Okay, I got the bolts in on that side. I'm going to try to show y'all how I put those in there. Alright guys, got Glen on the camera, so if you can't see, it's his fault. What I've done is I took the wire and bent it, put a little extra bend in it, and this has got to feed up inside of a hole in the back of the chassis to get where it's got to go. I may have to move the light so I can get in there, because I can't see. Okay, there we go. Alright, I got it fed through the front bolt hole. And to get this in there, what I did was I put the plate in first, get it inside the chassis, and then pull the bolt through, and then you just drop it right in place. The one that goes in the back is much easier than that. The operation is slightly different. The bolt head goes in first, then the plate goes in, and then it's in place. Now all we got to do is hold all this in place while we're putting all we got to do is hold this in place while we're putting the hitch up. And something I wanted to mention was there was a little bit of hucky puck right here, some, I don't know, undercoat and this stuff, this seam sealer. I just scraped it off because you didn't want to torque your trailer hitch against that. And that's it. Oh, also wanted to mention we had to drop the exhaust down. I think I mentioned that, but there are 4 exhaust mounts on this Hoss Daddy muffler that's under here. My God, look at that thing. But anyway, Glen and I are going to get this hitch bolted up and we'll come back. Alright guys, got it back up, got it all bolted in place, torqued all the bolts to about 100 foot-pounds. So that should be plenty tight enough. Something you should mention, if you're doing one of these, make sure your rubber for your exhaust stays on the car, because where it attaches to the car, you won't be able to get the rubber back into the little nipple that it attaches to on the car, because the hitch is right there next to it. Another thing, there is a piece that the factory installed on the car that goes around the back bumper. That'll have to come off, and I think it's just to keep the bumper from fluttering, but with this hitch in here, that's going to do the same thing. So if we run into any other problems, we may have to make a piece to run across here if it makes a noise or something. I don't think it's going to. Okay guys, before I get too far along, we went ahead and pulled the floor out of the back of the car, and there's 2 fill panels on either side of the floor. I went ahead and popped this piece off. It's just held on with clips. I'm going to pull this surround for the tire out. Oop. And you have some wiring here that goes to the subwoofer. Now we got to get to the wiring behind these covers, and it looks like y'all can't see that because it's dark. There's some sort of latch right there, maybe a cargo hold down is what it looks like. It's probably going to have to come out, so I'm going to pull a few more parts off and we'll come back. Alright guys, so what we've done is I've got this panel pulled out. There was a screw in here, and we need some light so y'all can see. There was a screw in there that was a Phillips screw right here. There's a Phillips screw right up there, and there was a 10mm there and a 10mm there, and then you have these push clips just like a door panel that holds it in. We're working on the driver's side first. The connector for the tail light is right here. This particular kit, the yellow harness goes to this side. If you get a different kit, it may be slightly different. So let me get this clipped in and we'll come back. Alright guys, the factory ground is right here, so I'm just running the ground right to the factory ground. So that should be good. We have to run a hot. One of the videos we were just watching on YouTube shows that you run the trailer harness out over the bumper. I don't really like that. I'm gonna crawl under the car and see what this looks like. I'm thinking about running it through this grommet right here and attaching it under the car because I don't want it running across the paint, chafing the paint. So we're gonna find us a little sheet metal screw or something and make sure we don't shoot a screw through anything important, and take the little box and mount it up here. I would say we could put it with the ground, but that may affect the ground of the car and we don't want that to happen. So let me get that mounted and we'll come back. Okay, right side is similar. It just hooks up to into the taillight connector. I cable tied it to the wires so that it wouldn't rattle around. Just ran the wiring harness across and cable tied it to the main harness. So I'm going to start putting the inside back together, and then we'll run the power wire and we should be good. Alright guys, I think we're about done here. Glenn got everything neatened up in this corner. You can see where we mounted the box. Just shot it. It actually came with a screw with the kit. We ran the main hot wire through this grommet right here and attached it with the supplied butt connector. I come underneath the car. Alright, Glenn's gone ahead and skipped forward, so we're checking we got tail lights, and he's got this fancy little thing to check, make sure we got power here. I'm gonna hit the brakes. Brakes. Work on the car. Okay. Left turn. It's got a push button in the dash. The funky. You gotta hold, well. Turn signal, right turn. Okay, so it looks like everything should be working. You wanna kill it, Glenn? Okay, guys, see if we can show you where I run the wire. I just attached it to the factory wiring harness up until we get to the rear suspension. Then I went over the top of the rear suspension and we came down. I need to clip those. Attached it to the gas tank strap, and I've run it underneath this panel and attached it to wiring as much as I could down the length of the car, and we came up the front of the car. Glenn still got the heat shrink this, and it's got a little fuse where it hooks directly to battery hot all the time. So that's it for the installation. Looks like it works. I need to check my trailer light wiring. I can't hook to the trailer. I've got to get a 1 7/8 ball. This kit came with a 2-inch ball, so I'm gonna have to get another ball. And we should be ready to pull kayaks with this thing. Anyway, that's it on this video. Y'all like and subscribe. Hopefully we'll should have the vise for the Bridgeport next. Either that, or I may get wild and work on the Volkswagen some, but then we're definitely going to have Volkswagen content after that. So I'll see y'all later on.